Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining with us this evening. So, if you are a student who has just finished your London A levels, or a parent sitting beside one right now, you are probably asking the same big question: what comes next? And that's exactly what tonight's session is going to be about. Because over the next hour, we'll be exploring the pathways open to you after A levels, from computing, business to life sciences, engineering, and many more. And most importantly, it's about how you can build a future that includes international placements, international transfer options, and even UK degrees delivered right here without having to leave home. And to guide us through this, we are joined by two outstanding resource persons who, between them, bring decades of experience in education, qualifications, and student pathways. So, our first guest actually needs very little introduction in Sri Lanka's education and IT circles. Dr. Dayan Rajapakse began his career as a medical doctor, having obtained his MBBS from the University of Colombo, founded ESOFT Metro Campus and the ESOFT Group. He currently serves as the chairman and group managing director of ESOFT UNI. What makes Dr. Rajapakse's on academic journey particularly inspiring is its range. He went on to earn a postgraduate diploma in advanced software engineering from the University of Westminster, UK, an MBA from London Metropolitan University, UK, and an honorary fellowship from Kingston University. He is currently reading for his Doctor of Business Administration at the University of Colombo. And in 2021, he was honored with the Entrepreneur of the Year award. Doctor, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here with us today. And with that, our second guest brings a global qualification side perspective to tonight's conversation. Mr. Suriya Bibile is the regional manager, South Asia at Pearson, a name almost every London A-level student in this session will recognize. He joined Pearson in 2009 and brings with him over 25 years of professional experience across multiple sectors. He previously served as the Deputy General Manager for Sri Lanka and Maldives at Pearson before being appointed to his current regional role, where he oversees sales and manages markets for Pearson qualifications and English language learning solutions, as well as business development for international programs across South Asia. Mr. Suriya, we are delighted to have you here with us this evening. So first of all, to set the context for today's discussion, I would like to extend my warm invitation to Dr. Dayan Rajapakse to answer the crucial question at hand today: what next after A-levels?
Right. Thank you, Lahirini. Basically, I have a set of slides lined up to explain. I think that will give us a clear understanding what options that are available. Let me first share that, and after that, I will take my discussion. Right. So, as given the introduction by Lahirini, so I'm Dayan. So, basically, the founder and managing director of ESOFT Group. So I have been an educationist for over the last 3 decades, having started lecturing my lecturing career for BCS professional exams. So I am very much familiar how basically the higher education landscape has changed over the years. If you look at our times when we left school in the 80s and the latter part of early 90s, if you look at the number of options available for a student after, if they don't get selected to state university, there were not much of options available. But with international schools coming in and so many international universities partnering with Sri Lankan entities with various kinds of business models like franchise delivery, validated delivery programs. So I think there are plethora of opportunities for today's young children. So what I'm going to highlight here is how parents can basically give world-class education, and how they can basically give such education to their children, while saving costs, while having that international learning opportunity and exposure, and other opportunities like post-study work visa and all that. So that's what I'm going to talk about. So, but only thing is, every parent and every child is unique. So therefore, these pathways must be carefully chosen based on the context of the child as well as the background of parents. So let me show you what are the possible options, career pathways that are available for a student who have sat for London A levels. Probably they will be expecting their results very soon. So some of these programs can be started on pending A level results as well. So what I'm going to show you is what are the options that are available with ESOFT Uni and ESOFT Metro Campus. We have been in education industry for the last 26 years. Our organization was established way back in 2000. So if I go to my next slide, I'm going to talk about 3-degree pathways, what is available for a child. So of course, since our focus today is those who have sat for London A levels, but that doesn't mean that these pathways are only for students who have sat for London A levels, right? These pathways are actually available for even for a child who have done London O levels. If they wish to fast track their career, there are foundation programs that can go through these pathways. And even for local A level or O level students, these pathways are open. So today, actually, you only need a kind of a focus and a goal and a commitment, and then there are so many ways of achieving your goals. So if I go on these 3 options, first one that I'm going to talk about is the British degrees or UK degrees that are delivered locally. So these are actually franchise degrees coming from our university partners, which are delivered locally. 100% you can complete the degree here. So the degree is a British degree recognized by the University Grants Commission, and but delivered 100% locally. Second option is you can learn part here, maybe the first year, second year, and then get some kind of a qualification or a credit transfer option to progress your study in a foreign university. That is the credit transfer pathway. The value of this one is the child can get an international learning experience, finishing the degree in a foreign university while saving a significant fraction of cost. Because if they have to study the full 3 years, they will have to spend more. Whereas in this one, they could only study for a year, study for 2 years. That depends on the destination, actually. So, for example, if UK, you can study for a year and get a post-study work visa. But if you're going for a country like Australia, you need to study minimum of 2 years there. Then third option is direct university placement. So that is basically somebody who wish to go directly to a foreign university. We also have placement services where our company is of international, so you can get placed directly. So we have quite a lot of scholarship options, IELTS waivers, and so on and so forth for the direct university placements as well. So let me first talk about the first option. The UK degrees delivered locally. I mean, some of the parents might not believe sometimes you can actually do a UK degree in Sri Lanka at probably 1/10 of the cost that it will incur if you have to go and do it in the UK or in Australia. So that is basically UK degrees delivered locally. So we have 2 models in this one. The most cost-effective model that we have, Suri also will add on to this, is actually the first 2 years coming from Pearson BTech HND. So I think most of the students who are familiar, who have done London A levels in Edexcel stream, they know what is Pearson. So Edexcel, you have done Edexcel advanced level, which is UK level 3. Then you can do a UK level 4 and 5 via a Pearson BTech HND. And then you can do what is called a top-up degree, which means the final year of the degree can be done and that is a cost saver because we are not paying royalty fee for the entire 3 years for the university. So Pearson BTech is another valid, globally accepted qualification. Suriya will tell more details about it. It's a vocational qualification, hands-on. Lot of skills are transferred. Lot of interpersonal skills are developed. Today, modern workplace look at those things very much, and then you can go and complete a final year of the degree. Again, locally here. So we are working with 2 university partners in Sri Lanka from UK. That is London Metropolitan University and Kingston University. So your price investment is from 1.5 million to about 1.7 million. For example, our IT and business degrees are around 1.5 million. And we have fashion degree, so which is a little bit expensive because we have a fashion campus in a very premium location, which is in Triangular Business Tower, level 10. So that is 1.7 million, the HND plus top-up pathway. Then we also have the other locally delivered option is the UK 3-year degree. That is the full 3-year degree you can study here, which for an investment from 2.2 million up to about 2.6 million. That depends on the stream. For example, our law degree and our LLB degree, and then our business degree starts from around 2 million. We have a new degree that is coming from Kingston University, which is actually Kingston Fashion School is London's #1. So we have a degree coming from Kingston Fashion School, which is Fashion Promotion and Communication, which is costing around 2.6 million. So these are also very affordable because we allow the students to pay in monthly installments. So this is overall cost, including the university fee. I have given the total cost, but part of this fee, the student will have to pay in US dollars or sterling pounds. We give the payment structure. So probably if you look at the HND plus top-up degree, price is around 40,000 because we give 40 installments per month for a program, even beyond the 3-year duration. So cost is around 40,000 per month if it's the HND plus top-up. But if it is a 3-year degree, it can go from about 50,000 up to about 75,000, depending on the cost of the program. So these are UK degrees delivered locally. So we have quite a lot of options in that also, because now we operate 5 faculties. So we have a IT and computing faculty. So whatever the degrees that you need in IT and computing, including software, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, cloud networking, data science, all of these degrees are available from Faculty of IT and Computing. We have it from both universities, from London Met as well as from Kingston University. For example, we even have a degree from robotics and IoT, so computer engineering, cybersecurity, all these aspects are available. Then also we have the second faculty, which is business and law faculty. So we have all business degrees, business management, international business, business management and entrepreneurship. Then we also have LLB degree, and you have hospitality management, travel and tourism management, all of them coming under business and law faculty. Then we have the life sciences faculty, which has degrees in psychology, degrees in nursing, degrees in biomedical engineering, and also under life sciences, we have early childhood education and education degrees also coming up. So that is the life sciences faculty. So we have an engineering faculty. In the engineering faculty, we have civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electronic and electrical engineering, electronic telecommunication engineering, construction management, and quantity surveying. So these are programs coming from the engineering faculty. And then we also have an art and design faculty. We have a degree in fashion design, a degree in fashion communication and promotion, and also we have a degree in creative media. So these are the degrees that are available from art and design. So these are all different degree programs that are available. So whatever your passion, we have pathways for you. So some of them may be HND plus top-up, some of them may be 3-year degrees. Maybe if for some of the options, you may have both options. So depending on your budget, you can select which one you want to use. But if you ask me, what are the benefits of HND plus top-up compared to 3-year degrees? I would say HND plus top-up, first 2 years is very hands-on. You get a lot of skills. technical vocational qualifications. So you get probably 2 qualifications at the end of the program. You have HND as well as you have a UK degree coming up with that. And it's more affordable. But then if somebody asks me what is the benefit of a 3-year degree, I would say the 3-year degrees are actually you study one coherent curriculum, which is coming from the same university. So you have a full transcript coming from the university. And then also you have a seamless transition option, progression option to the university. For example, if you think that you want to finish the final year or maybe finish the second and third year in the UK, you can seamlessly transfer with the 3-year degree option. Not that HND also doesn't allow you transfers, but this is actually very seamless transfer. It's not a credit transfer program because it's the same program that we deliver here. Then coming on to the second one, which I mentioned, is the transfer pathways. So I have also highlighted transfer pathways in 2 ways. One is we have the transfer pathways, direct transfers. For example, we are a Kingston Learning Hub in Sri Lanka. So it's actually a little lower level than the branch campus status. So therefore, for these programs, which is the same program being delivered here, you can straight away transfer to Kingston University London for second year or third year. So after first year, you can go there, or after second year, you can go there to finish it. So these are the degrees that are available. BSc Honours in Artificial Intelligence, BSc Honours in Software Engineering, BSc Honours in Cybersecurity and Digital Forensics. So 3 IT degrees. Then also we have 2 business degrees. One is BSc Honours in Business Management and Entrepreneurship, and BSc Honours in International Business. So these are the transfer programs to Kingston University. So we have very special offers in this because we are getting discounts. We are getting scholarship from the university, which can be offered to the student if they progress into Kingston University via ESOFT International. Then the other one is the credit transfer option, where the student can complete a Pearson BTech HND, and Suriya will cover a lot about Pearson HND program, which is a globally accepted qualification, not only in these countries, but also in other countries worldwide. So therefore, you can actually have a credit transfer option to progress your study and finish it in another country. So if you look at what are the transfer options available via HND, we have quite a lot done through articulation agreements. So you have universities in UK, we have universities in Australia, we have universities in New Zealand. So if you see, for example, via Pearson HND, you can transfer to Kingston University, London Metropolitan University, Hertfordshire University, University of Coventry. So a lot of options are available. So it's not just one, it's many. But it's always good. You could come and discuss where you are targeting to go and what is the university you like, which program you would like to go for, and then really see how you can plan it out early rather than waiting till the last moment, because it's not easy sometimes to get offer letters and clear your visa and all of those things. So I think early planning will help you to succeed in this credit transfer program. In Australia also, we have been working with quite a lot of universities. Southern Cross University, Central Queensland University, Deakin University, Charles Sturt University. So these are some of the universities we have worked closely where via Pearson HND you can transfer. And there are some universities in New Zealand, Auckland University of Technology. So these universities also accept students to transfer via HND to these ones. So more details about this, you can actually contact our international placement office. We have branch offices in Colombo, Kandy, Kurunegala, and Jaffna. So it's always good to really reach out to them and come and discuss your plans and which university you want to go for and what is your requirement and so on and so forth. Then basically we can give you a personalized service and direct you how best you can fulfill your life goals. So these are credit transfer options that are available. Then the third one that I mentioned was actually direct placements. So we provide a direct placement service also in many countries. So again, in the same countries like United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and Dubai. So basically, you can go to these universities to study your entire program. We handle your IELTS guidance and visa guidance, getting the offer letters and all these process we handle. But again, what is important is that you need to come and visit and discuss with our teams so that you can get a personalized service. So contact information for ESOFT International. So if somebody is looking for credit transfers and direct placement, this is how, what you should reach, where you should reach. Basically, the contact numbers and email addresses and where our branches are operating, physical branches are operating. So you will find them in ESU Colombo and ESU Kandy, ESU Jaffna, and ESOFT Metro Campus Kurunegala. So these places will have physical officers where they will be able to assist you in credit transfer programs and direct placements. Then if you are interested in local delivered degree options, you can reach out to ESOFT UNI centers, which is in Colombo, Kandy, and Jaffna. So, or else leading branches of ESOFT Metro Campus Network, where we have 40 branches, but not all 40 branches offer TNE qualifications leading up to degrees. But in about major 10 centers, we offer undergraduate programs. So if you go to main cities like Galle, Matara, Gampa, Batiklo, Jaffna, Trincomalee, Negombo, in all these areas, we offer British degrees. Not all streams. Of course, you will not be able to find maybe life sciences. You will not be able to find LLB in every location. But generally, business and IT degrees we offer in many locations. But so if you go to our websites, it will tell you what programs that are available. So if you want to go for, one of the main centers, you can go to ESU website, or else if you want to reach out to any regional centers, you can go to ESOFT website. So these are our contact information. So I think that's from my end. That is what I want to tell. There are so many options that are available, unlike today. For example, if somebody thinks that there's a young learner who is very talented and does want to, fast track the career. So today we have even programs where you can graduate as a teenager. We have a trademark product called Teen Graduate Program. So it's just a phone call away or just a visit away, where you can really see how. Because today education industry also has got disrupted, right? You have so many ways of learning, micro credentials to vocational training to distance learning to hybrid learning to traditional university education. So therefore, it's a mix of these things can really transform your children to a globally competent person who is ready to go out to the world and grab those opportunities. So you are welcome to reach to us. I think I will stop there, and then wait after Suriya's presentation for any questions.
Yes, absolutely 100% on that, doctor, because one misconception many students as well as parents have is that a degree locks them only to a single career path. However, in reality, the modern job market is far more flexible. And also at the same time, I believe you gave a very comprehensive breakdown in terms of UK degrees that are delivered locally, as well as the credit transfer pathways and the options for direct university placements that are available through ESOFT UNI. So with that, I would like to hear the ideas and also the opinions of Mr. Suriya in terms of the Pearson recognitions on a global scale, because in terms of the discussion at hand today, I believe the global perspective, the global take on things is also extremely important. So, Mr. Suriya, I would like to extend a warm invitation to you to share your thoughts in terms of the global perspectives that are engaged in terms of Pearson recognition.
Thank you, Laharini, and a very good evening to all of you. It's my absolute pleasure to be part of this webinar this evening. So we are talking about what options are available, how do you become future ready post your advanced level qualifications, particularly the recent conclusion of the international A levels, and how you're going to look at what you're going to do next and what options are available. Many thanks to Dr. Dayan Rajapakse for the presentation where he actually spoke a lot about the various options available. And I'm going to talk to you about Pearson BTech High National Diploma qualifications, where you have multiple opportunities, many opportunities. One is as a pathway qualification to complete your bachelor's degree, and then, of course, how you become work ready. So let me start off talking to you a little bit about Pearson itself. It's important that you understand the strength of the organization, the awarding board. So Pearson is the world's lifelong leading education organization. So we have over 20,000 employees present in 195 countries, trusted by millions of students, educators, corporations, governments, and we have over 1 million plus students who choose BTech every year. And of course, we have qualifications, as it was previously mentioned, as far as Pearson per se is concerned. We have qualifications from kindergarten all the way to grade 12, and then, of course, even beyond that. So as I mentioned, BTech programs. So what's so unique about BTech programs? They originate in the UK and are globally recognized and chosen by 1 million plus learners worldwide each year. BTech qualifications also offer a practical alternative to academic education, focusing on hands-on learning. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in the next slides. Each BTech includes diverse units and progressively build understanding and skills. Over 85% of students of 16 to 18 years choose BTech in the UK, and BTech stands for Business and Technology Education Council. 74% of businesses say they prefer a mix of academic and technical qualifications. Now, let me talk to you a bit about BTech itself, what's so unique about it, and why millions of students globally, an increasing number of students globally, select BTech. It's very career-focused. BTech are practical, skills-based education, trusted by employers and universities. Dr. Dayan mentioned in his presentation how a student completing a BTech High National Diploma can progress to completing the third and final year of a bachelor's degree right here in Sri Lanka, or you might even want to transfer overseas. Talking a bit more about practical skills-based qualifications, I'm sure if you pay a little attention to what's really happening around, many corporations, many employers today want their employees or the youth to be hands-on, work-ready when they enter the workplace. It's all about how best you perform and how well you learn fast. So what BTech does is, while it gives you the required credits equal to the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree, it makes you work ready. So that's why we say it's global career-focused learning. And our qualifications are reviewed and revised every 4 years. That is to ensure that you learn what's required at work, at your workplace, not just what was required 4 or 5 years ago, but what you need for tomorrow's skills. It's all about continuous practical assessments, which means as you learn and as you gain your credits, you collect your credits, what also happens is that you work in real work environments. For example, if you are doing an engineering qualification at ESOFT, BTech students get exposure to the practical skills in real world settings. We have a range of qualifications, and at ESOFT, we have the widest range of programs across 15 plus sectors, from business, IT, digital technologies, hospitality, art and design, science, engineering, so on and so forth. It's industry aligned, and why we call it industry aligned is that every time we develop and redevelop, revise our specifications, our qualifications, we do so in consultation with industry. And why is it important? As I mentioned earlier, it's about your investment of a good 2 to 3 years, as well as your financial investments, where you want to make sure that you become work ready and future ready. I have a quick video which I will play right now, just for your understanding. The recognition of BTech across the world is such that we also work with governments in many parts of the world. For example, the closest we have is the Maldives. Then we also work with the government of Jordan, Uzbekistan, Oman, Thailand, and of course in the UK, Vietnam, Brunei, and then of course Thailand and many other countries. Why I'm mentioning this is for you to have an understanding of the level of trust that governments, vocational education authorities, training centers, and employers have of Pearson around the world. And trust me, each one of these locations or these countries, geographies, they enroll thousands of students, if not hundreds of thousands each year. Just a few employers that we directly work with in the UK, but of course, we do have other employers elsewhere, and these are some of them. And I'm sure you are familiar with some of these employers and entities. Professional bodies, for example, just last evening, I had another conversation with CIM, just as an example, I'm quoting, where students who complete a BTech Higher National Diploma in Business with Marketing have access to completing just a couple of assessments in digital marketing with CIM, and you get your credentials in digital marketing, and that's from CIM. So that's the kind of cross recognition that we have for our qualifications. Similarly, of course, in other sectors as well. Now, let me talk a little bit about the structure itself, and that's quite important. So what you have completed now, as was said earlier, is a level 3 qualifications as far as the UK qualifications framework is concerned. For example, a BTech level 3 international diploma is equal to A levels. However, you have already completed your advanced level examinations and you're ready to move on. So what you will do is to first start off with HNC. Although you don't necessarily enroll for HNC per se, you will enroll on to the High National Diploma, which is a level 5 qualification. And in your High National Diploma, the first year concentrates on level 4 High National Certificate, so which is the first year of a UK undergraduate qualification. Similarly, you have the second year, which is the level 5, and your bachelor's degree, the third year, you're talking of basically level 6. Why it is also important for you to know this is, whenever you select a qualification, you must look for the level that it belongs to, it is aligned to. And when you speak of levels, if anyone were to ever talk about particular qualification being aligned to a certain level in a framework, you have to ask the question, which framework does it belong to? BTech qualifications are part of the regulated qualifications framework, or they also have the framework for higher education qualifications in the UK. It's very important. Our qualifications are regulated by Ofqual. Ofqual is the official regulator of qualifications. So these are key things for you to remember. And then, as was said earlier, you get the opportunity of progressing to the third and the final year, which is the level 6 qualification, and you get your bachelor's degree. And if you so decide to go elsewhere, you could still talk to the study abroad arm of ESOFT and understand what other options are available for you to go either to the UK or any other destination. You also have a list of universities that recognize us. We have given a few universities in our website. You're free to visit qualifications.pearson.com and you will find all these details on the recognition list for degree finder here. This generally is what the certificate looks like. Of course, it can change from time to time as part of our security features and the measures we take, but this is what it generally looks like. In your case, it'll be a level 5 qualification. You have a higher national certificate level 4, and then of course you will have the level 5 qualification certificate. Let me talk a little bit about, having completed the presentation, how BTech has supported learners across the world. For example, I was talking about Maldives. In the Maldives, thousands of students each year, while they progress to universities, they do a BTech qualification because the government of Maldives thought it's important that they become work ready in a global context. In Jordan, we do the same. We also train educators like teachers, students, and key senior educators to train and retrain them so that they become future ready and they are able to support learners towards employability. So that's basically why a BTech qualification that creates those pathways into the UK primarily, and then Australia, New Zealand. We have many students who go to Canada. And then, of course, there are other countries like Malaysia, Thailand, so on and so forth. Many countries who recognize students into those qualifications. However, my advice is that when you first decide what you want to study and where you want to go eventually, it's important that you consult the student advisors at ESOFT. You first talk to them about where you want to go next and work it backwards. That way, you have seamless progression to whatever the ambition, the career goal that you have. Some of you may want to even become entrepreneurs, start off from day one. You might sometimes want to start working after a BTech high national diploma and then complete the bachelor's degree at ESOFT. And then, later move on to your own business, etc. So whichever the one you take, you have many opportunities compared to several years back. So thank you very much for the opportunity. And I think we will have a session after my presentation where we'll be able to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suriya. And I think you walked us through the multitude of options that are available, especially in terms of a global perspective. And moving on, so as you correctly pointed out, now like after all these insightful sessions in terms of the opportunities that are available through ESOFT, as well as the validity and the recognition in a global scale when it comes to the Pearson qualification, now we'd like to hear from the parents and the students who have joined with us today. And with that, I would like to open the floor for discussion and turn this more into a conversation rather than a presentation. So whatever the inquiries or whatever the clarifications that you're having, you can type them in the chat box. And Dr. Dayan as well as Mr. Suriya would be happy to answer and provide their clarifications. With that, I would actually like to move to the very first question for today, and I would like to hear the perspectives of Doctor on this one. So, as you actually pointed out in the beginning of this discussion, there are so many options that are available for students who have completed their London A levels, so are expecting results like computing, business, life sciences, law, engineering, the list goes on. So, how is a student supposed to choose an option, especially if they are still not 100% sure about what they want to do?
Larry, thank you for that question. But a bit difficult to answer, in modern context because the worldwide actually job market is very turbulent and it's changing very rapidly, even faster than what anyone could imagine. Especially with a lot of generative AI impacting not only computing engineering industry but all the other industries. So therefore quite volatile. So what I would say is that career is something that somebody has to really climb up. So it's not just that you go today and stay for 2-3 years and end it. It's lifelong. So no, generally people don't change careers much, so they don't like to change. But of course, in the West, people change careers based on the opportunities. But here, they're a bit reluctant. So therefore, I think one most important thing is you must, for you to do something for quite a long time, for decades, you should love what you do. So therefore, you have to basically consider your passion. If you're not passionate about the thing that you're doing, so I think you probably will get fed up very soon. So one thing is that. The second thing is you should also look at your strengths. Not everyone is so good in numerical skills. Not everyone is good in science. Not everyone good in music and art, creativity. So there are different individuals have different strengths, right? So that is another second main factor that you need to consider. What are your strengths? For example, somebody who wants to do engineering must have some kind of basic ability in numeracy and as well as in mathematics, because engineering is all about mathematics, mathematical modeling. So there are a lot of stuff there. So somebody who wants to get into something like biomedical engineering, so there is science involved. So if you, unless you have some kind of basic competencies in that area, you might find it's too hard for you. So passion and your personal strength, I think based on that, if you make a decision, is basically something good. I can take my example as an example for me. For example, I was very good in mathematics. When I was a child, I used to score my highest marks in maths, and then, but not very good at in memorizing. But because my father was a doctor, I was actually forced to do biology for A levels. So then I went on to become a medical doctor. But then that was not something that I really loved. And also my strengths were in something else. So eventually, I had to say goodbye to my first career, which was medicine, and continue on something that I love to do, which is computer engineering. Of course, if I had got an opportunity, I would have done engineering. But eventually, I switched to software engineering and computer engineering side, and taught in that. So basically, based on my strengths and passions. So I think children should look at those, what you love to do and what are your strengths. Based on that, you should select the field, because today you will have to be a little bit flexible in building your career. You can't be always targeting this particular job. I am going for this particular job, because such job might change very often. So therefore, you have to have a certain amount of adaptability. That is why I say something that you love, you must choose, because then you are ready to do those modifications and adaptations.
Yes, absolutely, doctor. And actually, that's very much relatable in my case as well, because I'm also a lawyer by profession, but at the same time, I absolutely love lecturing and educating. And that is something which I'm truly passionate about as well. So, what you told about enjoying what you do and being especially passionate about it can push you in really good directions. So with that, we also have another question from the audience, and I believe Mr. Suriya will be able to give his insights on that one. So we have a question where it says about the possibility in terms of whether having the BTech qualification will lead into a degree later via the UCAS points or direct entry, or whether it's a separate track.
Thank you for repeating that question, Laharani. I just responded. So students can look at direct entry as well. We have instances where students move to different countries and doesn't have to be necessarily through UCAS itself. However, I would always suggest to students, number one, if they can move in soon after, that makes it absolutely seamless, because if curriculums change, that can have across any qualification. There can be lesser credits that can be transferred. More than that, always look at where you want to go next, and based on that, work it backwards and then see, okay, I do understand there are lots of students who sometimes complete the high national diploma, they wait for about a year or two, come back, and then want progress to complete their bachelor's degree. So it is possible. They could look at UCAS as well as direct entry, but it's important that they contact universities and keep their options ready and open. If you want more personalized advice, I would suggest that you get in touch with ESOFT or reach out to us as well at Pearson, and we'll be able to guide you more on that.
Laharani, there is a question on the commitment in terms of number of hours, length, and the duration per week, and so on. So what I have to say is, actually, if you look at especially the HND plus top-up pathway is very flexible, because these BTech qualifications have certain amount of face-to-face physical lectures, plus we have a lot of work to be done via assessment and self-learning, which are guided through our learning management systems. So we are happy to say that actually you can choose your learning process based on, so we don't have hard and fast rule to say that you need to study at this pace, committing about, of course, every undergraduate degree, of course, has to have 360 credits. And then that has certain amount of notional hours based on the framework and all that. But the beauty of the Pearson BTech qualification is that the length that you're going to use to study that is not fixed. So 240 credits, if you want, you can finish it within 2 years. Or if you want, you can extend and take the modules at a slower phase, and you can study it over a period of 3 years. So that is what is available via our distance and hybrid learning modes also, and also via our physical classes that is available. So you don't have to necessarily use the same uniform pattern in your study. So this actually helps you to really blend your working and studying, or maybe do something else and study quite a lot. For example, we have quite a lot of students who are actually studying in state universities and doing a BTech qualification in a different field, because today they know that just having one qualification is not good enough today to fit into the work environment. Somebody may be studying in doing a computer science degree in a state university, but they study BTech qualification in management and entrepreneurship, because they think that you may need that sometimes for you to do your own startup. So therefore, we are quite flexible in deciding how you're going to take these credits and study that. But generally, we have both weekday and weekend delivery options. So based on your other commitments, you can always choose.
And if you don't mind, I'll also add, Doctor, I think if a student in today's context, sometimes, especially those who work in multinationals or get placed outside midway their high nationals or the program, they could still switch to your blended learning method and continue, so that your work, neither your work nor the studies will be disrupted. So you can still continue to do that.
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, you can start in one mode. For example, if you don't have any commitment now, you can study on the weekday, more physical contact program. And if you get employed, you can switch to the weekend delivery option, or maybe to hybrid and distance learning option. So there are always flexibility. There's another question: how does this transfer work? How do you basically start here and finish the degree overseas? So actually, how does it happen is basically via Pearson BTech HND. How do you get to study in an overseas university is because via what is called a credit transfer program. So we have really done work with some of the universities in both Australia, UK, New Zealand, and countries like that. We have what is called articulation arrangements. So that means our Pearson BTech qualification has been looked at by those universities.
I think there's a slight interruption. So if I may continue, I think what's being said is that you can do the transfer, and that's where the credit transfer is advantageous as far as the students are concerned. You can start off here, and eventually, if you choose to transfer it and complete it elsewhere, you certainly can do that.
Yes, Mr. Suriya, and also like speaking of which now, since you were able to give like a very comprehensive breakdown in terms of like the global recognitions that are available. So when it comes to job interviews, like locally or abroad, do employers actually recognize and value these qualifications the same way? Does it make a real difference on a CV? Would like to hear your perspectives on that one.
Certainly, yes. I think the best example is what we have been seeing over the years, even in Sri Lanka. So let's contextualize to Sri Lanka, especially because students want to know more about how they can do it here. At ESOFT alone, what I have seen, I think Dr. Dayan will be able to confirm the percentages, but I think a good 70+% of students, there is a tendency to complete the HND and then start working, and then they complete their bachelor's, through weekend mode, etc. So, which means there is recognition for our students at workplace. And also, I have also seen after the graduation, ESOFT also conducts career or placement in job placements soon after the graduation in the same venue, where employers come to the venue and interview students, do an initial interview, and then they are able to secure placements in organizations. So to the question, yes, certainly students who complete, and also we have found students who complete a BTech and then move to work whilst continuing their bachelor's part-time, they tend to be far more work ready. For example, let's say a student who's in digital technologies or computing, they'll be more hands-on as they start working. So that is why we find employers increasingly recognize BTech qualifications, and also why governments globally are signing up with Pearson to deliver BTech qualifications, and actually they sponsor them. So for example, even in the Maldives or in Jordan, government provides free education, free vocational training, free BTech qualifications, and they are our customer, but thousands of students do this program.
Sorry, Lahirani, I think my sort of connection dropped. Sorry about that. So I think I was talking about this articulation. How does the progression work? So we have already worked with some of the universities. So programs have been mapped. So where the transfer is very straightforward. But even with the universities that we have not worked, still we can have certain arrangements case by case. But of course, always it's good that, as Suriya mentioned at the beginning, that you come and discuss what is your goal and where you want to go, what you really want to do, right? And then basically we can tell you what is the best pathway you can use, because if you tell what's your goal and what's the university you are targeting, which program you want to go for, we can tell you for you to go there, okay, whether there is an existing articulation agreement And if so, how can do that? And what program in Pearson BTech will help you to get there? So that's the thing. So you must start from the end result, what you want, and come and map it backwards, and then start your first program here. Then that will make the things much easier, rather than doing something and then later on coming and telling that this is my expectation, this is what you want to do. Then maybe what you have started maybe not perfect for that requirement. So that's the addition. And also someone has asked, still they are confused about choosing whether to select engineering, whether to select science, whether to select computing, and so on. But I would say any field is good. Every field has its own challenges. Now, for example, these days computer field is bit challenged. For example, the bit challenge in the sense, because today, if you have heard about and updated, there are bots which are coding. So therefore, software engineer job is threatened. Of course, you have to be smart enough today. You should know how to become a smart software engineer and become more productive software engineer by using bots. So earlier, if you used to take 6 months to develop a system, today you should be able to do it in 1 week. Right. So that's the transformation, adaptation that you need to have. Every field will have its own challenges. So if you are not sure about what to choose and what to decide where you want to really, what are your strengths, please visit, and then see what the available facilities are, and then what you like, whether you like learning in those environments and so on, and have a close discussion with one of our experienced student counselor, and they will be able to guide you on even you can go to the extent of looking at what the content we cover, subject selection, whether you like those subjects, and so on and so forth. So I think higher education planning must be carefully done. So it's very important. This is just a kind of eye opener for you. We have shown you what are the possible options. How do you save costs? For example, I would say, if you really want to go and study in UK and get post-study work visa, and maybe look at on a maybe PR, which have become very hard now. However, if you're still thinking that is the way you forward, I think you can save about 10 million rupees by doing a Pearson BTech HND and then going to UK to do a final year top-up, right? So, for example, actually, my son studied at Gateway College, and then I got him to do the first degree at ESOFT. By that, actually, I saved more than 50,000 sterling pounds on tuition fee alone. I think minimum 50,000 would have been easily 60,000 pounds if you went into average university. So 60,000 pounds today means about 20 million, right? But I got him to do the postgraduate studies in UK. So he finished in UK, but started here in Sri Lanka. So you can have smart learning options while, because some people think that, you need to invest a lot of money on children. Yes, we invest money on children, but you must also look at ROI, right? For example, if you're thinking of investing a large amount of money, which is all your savings on a child's education, you have to also think about, how do you sustain your life thereafter? So there are cost-effective options of reaching the same goal in a much economical way.
Absolutely, Doctor. And speaking of cost-effective options, I would like to direct our final question for both our panelists. So as parents, they have this natural tendency to compare the cost of sending their child abroad versus studying locally. So what exactly is the honest difference in value, not just the price, between the two routes? I would like to hear the opinions of Doctor on this one first.
So I told you now, for example, if you really go to a country like UK, average tuition fee in an undergraduate program will go from 15,000 to 20,000 sterling pounds, right? So let's say it is 20,000 sterling pounds, which is about 4.5 million per year, right? Tuition fee only. So you will have further on top of that living cost, because today in country like UK, you can't actually, student can't even find sufficient revenue by the 20 hours of work that they do. They can't even cover up their lodging cost. Lodging cost has to be also sent from here. So we are talking about 5 million a minimum 5 to 6 million per year. So if you study for 2 years here, you are saving 10 million, right? Nearly 10 million you are saving. Then you go and do 1 year there, you'll only have 1/3 of your actual cost in terms of tuition fee. I always advise, actually, if the parents can think of, if you really want to give your child an international learning exposure, why not think about getting them to do undergraduate studies and look at going for postgraduate? Because postgraduate entry for universities are not very competitive. You can easily get into one of the good university also for postgraduate studies, and you can enjoy the same benefits. If you're looking at actually doing the entire degree here, I think you are spending, an example, I told you average cost in UK is about 5 million per year. So 3 years means 15 million tuition fee. So here I told you locally delivered UK degree is 1.5 million. So which means at ESOFT, I don't know about the other places, but it's about 1.5 million. So which is about 1/10. So if you see the tuition fee, what you spend in UK is 1/10 of that, you can do a degree locally here. But I think always, if the parents can afford, I always advise them, okay, get your children to go out there, get that international learning experience, at least in some part of their career, because that will add a little bit of value to them. They will polish up their language, they will meet other people, they will know how to connect with other communities, and that is a great value addition for a child. So you can do that just for sending the child for the final year, or maybe sending the child for the postgraduate studies. So that's my take on your question.
I believe that effectively covers both ends of the spectrum and also addresses a concern shared by quite a few students in the audience. Mr. Suriya, would you like to add your thoughts on that as well?
Yes, I think Dr. Dayan, his answer was very comprehensive. You save a lot, and at the same time, if you were to send or if you were to make it to the UK for postgraduate, you become far more focused as well, in the context that you do your bachelor's education, by which time you got a good taste of what your career is going to be. You, in all probability, would have figured out where do you want to work. And for example, I'm going to slightly go back to a previous discussion as well, where we talked about especially the IT sector, which one to select, whether to select science, engineering, etc. You see, sometimes you select one of these streams, and then later you also start working, and then you figure out, okay, I want to be more in science. I want an MSc in science or MSc in engineering. So you could look at going for the postgraduate to the UK or even any other country, by which time you have better direction, a better understanding of what you really want to be. I know a lot of people who studied science or maybe even law, but they are in business, they are in software, because they later decided to acquire qualification elsewhere in another sector. So your first 2, 3, 4 years is where you actually settle in. So you obviously want to make sure that you invest well, and then you go for your postgraduate, and by which time you can actually really specialize in the area you want to specialize in. So I think my advice would be for the students to make a visit to ESOFT, sit with one of the student advisors and a career counselor, and then understand the various options. Higher nationals to the UK or elsewhere, completing it over here in Sri Lanka. And I think that will be an opportunity for them to get a better understanding of the different options available. And I think with that, I also want to thank you for inviting me over today. ESOFT has been one of our leading centers and our top international centers, not just in Sri Lanka, even internationally, and an award-winning center that has received the Platinum Award for 6+ years for ESOFT's outstanding performance in Pearson, for upholding the standards that are set by Pearson in the UK and for international centers. So come over, discuss with us. at Pearson, you can talk to us. We are at the World Trade Center. We have a country office. You can reach out to us if you want to understand more about Pearson. But if you want to talk about your career, where exactly you can go, high nationals, which degree, which country, make it to ESOFT, and I think you get a better understanding.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Suriya, for sharing your insights. And we also have another question from the audience. Can we join with our pending results? I think Dr. Dayan will be able to handle this.
Yes, Lahirani, pending results options are there, but only thing is there is a condition that you need to have the results, what is minimum expected, and provide that before you go for the formal registration process, right? So I think we always accept pending results on the condition that they fulfill the minimum requirement.
Sure, thank you very much. And we are having certain time constraints, so that actually brings us to the end of today's discussion. So tonight was never just about degrees or qualifications. It was about possibilities. And thank you very much, Mr. Suriya and Dr. Dayan Rajapakse, for being with us today despite your busy schedules. And also, I would like to thank our students and our parents for making this discussion meaningful. And as I reiterated before, of course, if you have any further questions about the options that are available, our experienced student counselors at ESOFT UNI will be able to guide you through the process. So feel free to talk to us and visit us as well. And with that, I would like to wrap off for today. And I'm Lahirani Ekanayaka signing off as your host for tonight. Until we meet again, stay curious, stay ambitious, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Welcome to ESU.